Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the show. Does it seem like I start over here often? I think I do. Well, because we keep the camera stuff all right there. Today's gonna be a short one. It's a Friday before vacation. If you're watching this at the time it's being made, then yeah, sorry. We had some time. I know, right? There's nothing in the bay. And there's been something I've been wanting to make for a while. Oh, before I get started. What's going on?
What's going on?
What you doing?
You know, just right here.
Reading?
Yeah.
Reading? Catching up? CE Outlook?
Yeah.
That's where we go to read up and find all new and keep up to date, and along with Facebook and all that other fun stuff. Back to the point. Well, actually, you know what? Let's roll the intro, and then I'll catch you on the flip side. Many eons ago, we did this thing called the radio dyno, and it was fun, and we had a good time with it, and we've been meaning to get back to them. It's one of those things that I've been thinking about how we can streamline it so we can do them faster, because what would happen is just doing one radio was taking like an hour. It was like a long time to film, so we could do like one, maybe two a night. I'm like, this isn't gonna work. So then I had the idea of going and picking up another DD1, so we ordered a second DD1 so we could actually do the preamp section and the output section at the same time. And then I was like, be neat, because naturally I always make things harder. I go into things with the intentions of making things easier, but then I find ways to make them harder. And we have the little tiny amp dyno, the portable one, and I was like, well, it'd be nice to see what kind of power is actually coming out of these things. So we could say it's 18 watts or 22 watts. Anyways, give accurate information. In order to do that though, we have to load the channels down. So I bought these guys right here. Now this is a 200 watt 4 ohm resistor, because the radios need to see 4 ohm, and I really don't think they're gonna put out more than 200 watts. So we got 4 of these, one for each channel. I was like, that's cool. If you look right here, this area right here, the reason why this is darker than, let's say, this, not being scratched up, but what happened, we have this load resistor. Now this is 1000 watt 2 ohm load resistor. We were testing something, I don't remember what it was. We weren't paying any attention to it at all. Those things get really, really, really hot. Remember that, Fernando?
Yep.
It was kind of funny. And then I accidentally kind of like bumped it with my arm. I was like, oh! Oh! And then we saw that the wood was actually starting to smoke. I was like, that's no good. So the other day, Skar said that we could keep this thing, this amplifier here that has the messed up where the guy forgot to tighten up his ground wire. I was like, hey, can we keep this? Because they wanted it back. And I was like, can we keep it, please? Because this will be great. We can talk to people and they ask, you know, what happens when wires are loose, or check your grounds, and this is why you need to do it. And they're like, yeah, go ahead, you can keep it. And then the thought occurred to me. I was like, ooh, we could put the load resistors inside of that. That would be neat. But then I was like, it would kind of defeat the purpose of having the cool thing to show you guys, you know, when we want to talk about it. So I called him back and I said, Shane, buddy, pal, friend, you wouldn't happen to have a second one of those or something laying around like that, would you? He goes, Dean, cause it's you. He gave me a second one. These don't work, these are dead. This one was water damaged, which is fine. I just want the heatsink. So today we're going to figure out how to pull this thing apart, as I want this end here attached to the load resistors, and then the load resistors just kind of screwed inside of here. It seems easy enough, right?
It's pretty easy.
Yeah, it's not gonna be. Nothing ever is. Let's go ahead. Let's get the bottom off. Let's take a look inside. So they took blue tape and it says Dean and then the number 5 and an actual star. That's pretty cool. I know some of you guys are like gonna be like, oh my god, you could have fixed it. I couldn't have fixed it. I don't have that ability at all. Ooh, it's got a fan in it. See if we can keep the fan, and we can hook the fan up to power, and we can actually keep the fan on. Oh. That would be neat. Alright, so we don't need anything on this end. We really just need to get it all apart and see if we can unsolder all this off of the board. That's a chassis ground right there. A funny story about chassis ground. So in Macintosh, you know those cool amplifiers that Doug talks about? Well, the first generation of those amplifiers, when they came out, they're designed by home audio guys. They had never done 12 volt before. Well, they didn't realize that in the 12 volt world, we're not gonna screw our amplifiers directly to the frame of the car, like we're gonna put them on beauty boards or trunk flushes or whatever you wanna call it. So they didn't chassis ground the amplifier. Needless to say, without that chassis ground, the amplifiers didn't do too well, and they had catastrophic failure in the first run of those amplifiers. And I know this because they repaired them all, and our store bought every single one of them. It was quite hilarious. They did issue a fix for it. You had to run a little piece of remote turn on when you put your ground in the amplifier out to the screw down on it. That's how you fixed it. So you had a multi-$1,000 amplifier with a little remote turn on jumper going out to your screw hole. So here's your gain inputs, just pins in. It's a stacked board here. Now I'm guessing they probably have a cool tool that's used to remove these things, but we're not going to be repairing it or anything like that. However, if you do know what tool it is, let me know in the comments, because I'd sure love to get one. Bingo! There we go. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and clean off all this sticky white gooey stuff, the thermal transfer stuff. I don't want to get it all over everything. I've already pretty much done a good job of that. All clean and pretty. So now I need to get these off. Take a look at the bottom. We got the jumpers here. We got these giant balls of solder holding this in place. Now I don't need to keep the pins, so what I'm thinking is I could actually just grind this flat and these will fall off. What do you think, Fernando?
Sounds like a good idea.
Let's try it. We might need to lengthen some of our wiring on the resistors, and if this stuff could sit underneath this circuit board getting as hot as it does, this is definitely the wire we want to use. Well, we don't need this anymore, and I'm just gonna, I sadly throw it away because it's just getting this white crap all over me. I guess I should have asked for a bigger one of these. Now, smart money would have been on me measuring how wide the resistors are before I asked Shane for another one of those amplifiers. In my mind, it seemed like it was gonna fit. Apparently, I was wrong. All is not lost. I think I have a plan. Since this is aluminum, it's pretty soft metal, and really all we need is about 1/4 inch. That's an 1/8 inch on both sides. It's wide enough to where it will still work fine, and we can slide them in. So we're gonna go ahead and buzz this thing through here and see if this will give us what we need. We'll have to make a couple cuts. Safety first. We got our shield, we got our glasses. Let's give it a go. Totally gonna work. Now what we need to do is just need to make this groove a little bigger so that it'll fit this whole thing. All right, let's make a couple more passes. Let's see if these bad boys will slide into place. Woo, look at that. Oh yeah. Oh, they totally slide into place. All right, let's head back over to the workbench and see if we can get this thing put back together. Well, the wishful thinking of retaining the fan just isn't gonna happen. Of course, I could probably move it. Yeah. All right, we'll just move it. So we'll just move the fan down here to the bottom. There's still plenty of grill. Now we can put the end plate back on. I don't want them sliding around, so I'm gonna go ahead and put a couple of screws in to hold them in place. Now the nice thing about these drill bits is they actually put a thread in too. They're mounted in place. Let's go ahead and grab our speaker. I'm hoping I should be able to just screw this guy back in. Power one is going to be a tad bit more probable because it was actually broken, so we might just glue that one back into place. All we need it for is the power for the fan. So we have all the wiring done. Now let's see if we can put the fan in here. So we'll just kind of set this over it like that. Let's see where this guy needs to line up. Alright, fan fits. That's cool. Now all we need to do is hook it up here to power and ground, and of course make a cable that is removable because just in case we have to take it apart. So we have these little guys here that we use for tweeters. We'll just go ahead and solder this end onto here, and I'll solder this end onto this. Okay, change of plans. We're not gonna solder it. We're actually gonna put a ring terminal and bolt it into place. Fan's plugged in. Let's hook up some power and see if the fan turns on. Yay, we have a fan. That's a bonus. So there'd be no point of us building this going, okay, cool, we built this cool thing, let's set it on the shelf and we'll get to it eventually. We wanted to try it out and see if this even worked. What we've done is we've gone ahead and out of screen we have one of our old test radios. We have our AMM-1 amp dyno. It's all hooked up. We have our phone here playing 1000 hertz test track, 0 dB going into the aux jack on this. This guy is zeroed out. I'm gonna go ahead and hold the positive negative onto here. The volume is all the way down right now, so we have 0. Let's go ahead and crank this thing up. Amp dyno stops, 14 watts. You can kind of hear the fan on this thing just blowing away, and no heat at all, which I didn't think there would. I mean, we only got 14 watts. These things handle way more power than that. This is that radio we were talking about. Just an old Kenwood. Pass through, and there she is. Ooh. So this is one of those ideas that I had when I was just looking at those RP amplifiers going, man, I bet you they would fit. And it was close. It was close. This could have been like super easy. As it turns out, it is a little bit harder. That's okay. I think this actually worked out better because it raised them off of the surface, allowed us to run the wires underneath, plenty of air. I don't think these things are ever going to get hit all that hard. We only are planning on doing this with deck power.
Plus you have the fan.
Yay! All right, guys. Well, we hope you liked this episode of Car Stereo Lab. A little bit different, but fun nonetheless. Fernando.
On to the next one, guys.
We'll see you later, guys. Have a great night.
Bye.